Hey everyone, Felix from Nintendo Life here. And today, yes, it's finally time to review Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy for the Nintendo Switch. This review was written by the lovely Kate Gray and has been converted into video by me. So, after the success of the original 3 Ace Attorney games, series creator Shu Takumi was ready to end Phoenix Wright's story. But the world wasn't quite done with these surprising, intriguing lawyer games, and so he had to figure out how to make a new game without retreading old ground. Thus, Apollo Justice was born, and Phoenix was unceremoniously disbarred. The following 3 games, now serialized as Apollo Justice Trilogy, serve as Apollo's version of Phoenix's story. But because of the tension between Takumi's wants and the player's needs, Apollo never quite gets the spotlight all to himself. We begin with Apollo Justice Ace Attorney, set 7 years after trials and tribulations. In that time, a lot has happened, and the familiar angles of Wright's face are buried behind stubble, grim, and a deep sense of ennui after having lost his attorney's badge. But Apollo Justice, our new main character, isn't going to give up that easily and joins the Wright Anything Agency, formerly known as the Wright & Co. Law Officers, hoping to make a real difference to the legal profession. Unfortunately for him, he entered his career during the dark age of the law, where cowboy prosecutors and manipulative murders will stop at nothing to get the results they want. Like Phoenix's Magatama, Apollo has his own secret power, and it's much more closely tied to his backstory. A magic bracelet that allows you to slow down time and catch people's tells, that is, the subconscious muscle twitches and movements that highlight their lies. Unlike the Magatama, this is almost entirely used in court to trip people up during their testimonies, adding a new element to a well-trod feature of the Ace Attorney games. Our first case sees Phoenix himself getting accused of murder and sets up this new game's intentions as a darker, sadder version of what came before, as well as our old friend's slightly jarring heel turn into Bad Boy Phoenix. A slowish second case, Turnabout Corner, deftly combines 3 separate mysteries: a theft, a hidden run, and a murder. But Turnabout Serenade and Turnabout Succession, our third and final case, are expertly crafted tales with strong gimmicks, reviewing concept footage and time travel of sorts while turning the tone into something much more sinister. But with only 4 cases and no DLC, Apollo Justice is over pretty quickly, and now we're on to Dual Destinies, our second game in this collection. The biggest and most welcome change here is the art, transitioning from the 2D sprites of the last 4 games to detailed 3D characters and backgrounds, with some genuinely impressive animations accompanying fantastic writing and localization, as well as fully animated and voiced cutscenes for each case. The cases themselves are more bombastic than ever, including multiple actual bombings defending a killer whale, and a 2-part murder that will genuinely blow your mind. However, Dual Destiny's story suffers from a fairly severe identity crisis, as it flounders to find as a compelling main character as Phoenix and his sidekick Maya. The result is that Apollo and Trucy largely get sidelined and left in the plot stasis, but Phoenix never quite feels like the main character either, more like a substitute teacher filling in. New sidekick Athena is a spunky youngster, but that's hardly a unique quality in a world where passing the bar is something that most people do before they can drive. She's likable enough, but she's unfortunately also the source of most of Dual Destiny's over-tutorialization, making you feel a little less warm towards her as she re-explains how to be a lawyer to you for the 8th time. Yes, thank you Athena, but we were winning cases while you were still eating paste. Athena's gimmick, for every lawyer must have one, is psychological analysis by way of a talking robot necklace. It's shaky at best and confusing at worst, asking you to find emotional inconsistencies in witnesses' testimonies by pointing out the feeling they shouldn't have, or should have, or have too much of, or have too little of. It's never as simple to understand or quite as hard-hitting as Cyclops or Apollo's magic bracelet, although it's still fun to have the court cases broken up by a minigame. So after blazing through Dual Destiny's 5 cases and its meaty DLC, we have Spirit of Justice. After Dual Destinies raised the stakes to the ceiling, it was hard to see where Ace Attorney would go next, so it made sense that Spirit of Justice took place in a totally new and made-up country, where the legal system is in shambles and lawyers are put to death if they lose their case. Phoenix's simple holiday to support Maya on her latest spiritual journey quickly devolves into a nightmare of murder, revolution, more murder, and just like that, the stakes have once again been raised, tackling deeper and darker themes like religion, politics, and foreign diplomacy. Meanwhile, back home, Apollo and Athena are dealing with their own separate but related problems, namely a new prosecutor who just happens to be from the country that Phoenix and Maya are in. And here, finally, is where we get back to the story for Apollo, which was first teased in Apollo Justice and then largely discarded for Dual Destinies. By setting the story in two places at the same time, finally Apollo and Phoenix both feel like they're in the spotlight, and it's delightful to see the grown-up versions of Trucy and Pelfey get screen time too. Like Dual Destinies before it, Spirit Justice also amps up the visual quality, with even more detailed animations and anime cutscenes. The character designs are as varied and creative as their pun names are groan-worthy. Put all together, this trilogy is a worthy follow-up of the Ace Attorney originals. There is a slight dip in the middle, and your mileage may vary on whether or not you enjoy the gimmicky cases, but the wealth of gorgeous art, unparalleled writing, and sheer volume of story makes this well worth the price of admission. Throw in the DLC cases, but be prepared for the most gimmicky murders of all, and the small but mighty upgrades to the remaster, like the note system that lets you track your movement so far, the consult and story mode options that let you cheese through the more difficult parts, plus the extra art and achievements, and you'll see that this remaster has done these excellent games justice. We here at Nintendo Life give Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy for the Switch a 9 out of 10. If you enjoyed this review, why don't you point at that subscribe button, maybe yell at it a little bit, and give it a little click. And don't forget to check out our website, nintendolife.com, where you can find reviews like these, but in written form. Stay safe, play some Ace Attorney now that all the mainline games are here on the Switch, and we'll see you in the next one. Felix from Nintendo Life, out.